Well, good morning, and thank you so much for that welcome. It is great to see you here today. This is always an exciting day for us here at the Capitol. We have been in here for 2 days. It's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, and a lot of fresh legs that are going to get tired real quickly as the session moves along. It's always a highlight to see you, to greet you. Thank you for coming and being a part of this. We are in our third day. And so you've caught us very early, but still I think we've done some things in the last 2 days that are going to be pleasing to you, and I want to talk about those very briefly for just a few minutes. I have met with your leaders and enjoyed that meeting, and one of the things that made that meeting so enjoyable was the fact that the priorities of this organization line up with the priorities of the House of Representatives, I think, this year. I met with them early on. They talked about two things that were really on the radar. One is a continued emphasis on roads and bridges, and a continued emphasis on workforce development. I'm pleased because those are the things that we in the House have been focused on as well. I don't know, I stood before you last year and I told you that we were going to take the road and bridge issue very seriously. We were going to engage. We were going to make sure that we devoted some time and energy trying to find solutions, and I think we did that by the end of the session last year. We brought forward about 4 different ideas, and we continued to search for ideas throughout the summer. This year we're going to come forward with not only those same 4 ideas, but some others as well. And yesterday, second day of the session, 3 of my committees in the House met and passed out some of those ideas. And we're going to continue to meet. Today, we hope to take those up on the House floor. So I think that demonstrates to you just how serious we are about trying to find a solution to the road and bridge issue. Some of those ideas include a $50 million bond bill right off the top. Half of that money would go to cities, half of that would go to counties to help them find a way to repair bridges and roads in their areas. Another idea is to use a fund that we have that would be used as leverage to generate another $100 million in addition to that to be used for roads and bridges. We have an idea that would involve growth, a growth trigger. If our economy grows by more than 2%, we would use a portion of those dollars for roads and bridges. We've encouraged MDOT to find savings within their agency. And we've agreed that if they could redirect up to $25 million away from administration and other things and put it into roads and bridges, we would try to match that. All of these ideas bring forward pieces of money, chunks of money that can be used to address the road and bridge problem. All of these ideas take money out of existing dollars or out of growth, which we think is a very solid, conservative approach to finding a solution. As I said, we passed some of these ideas out of the committee yesterday. We're going to try to take them up on the House floor today, and I think that demonstrates a serious commitment on our part to this issue. The second issue we talked about with your leaders is workforce development. The House has been very serious about workforce development over the last 6 years. I have an entire list here I'm going to go through with you about things that we have, ideas that we have put forward. But it used to be that when we pursued businesses in this state, they would come and say, how much are you going to give us? What incentives are you going to give us? That seemed to be their number one priority. That seems to have changed now. The number one question we get now is, do you have an educated, reliable, qualified workforce? And if we're going to prosper in Mississippi, we got to have a solid answer to that question. It's very simple. If our workforce is educated and trained, we're going to prosper. And if they're not, we're not. And it's that simple. We've got to be able to have a good answer to that question. Say, yeah, we've got a great workforce. Here's some of the ideas that we have put forward over the last 6 years, some of the bills that we have passed to demonstrate that commitment to workforce development. One is the Mississippi Works Fund. This provides training to unemployed people to help prepare them for the workforce. This is money we put aside to train people to enter the workforce. Mississippi Works Dual Enrollment Option. This allows high school dropouts, people who have stopped going to school, to re-enter the local school district and the community college and get credit in both places at the same time to further expedite their ability to enter the workforce. The MDA Jobs Training Grants. This authorizes MDA to issue grants to colleges to pay portions of the costs associated with training employees. Districts of Innovation allows local school districts to implement ideas to prepare students to enter the workforce. That allows them to partner with local employers to say, what do you need, Mr. Employer? What type of employee are you looking for? And we're going to try to help train that employee to match up what you need. And those people can then step straight out of the classroom and enter the workforce ready to go to help the employers. We've also put our money where our mouth is through appropriations and bonding. In 2012, we put $38.5 million into the workforce education program. Over the last 6 years, we have increased that amount every year. And last year, we put $51 million there. That's an increase of 32% over the last 6 years. We've also put $4 million into the MDA Workforce Training Fund. And then in K-12, we have put more money into K-12 than ever in the history of the state. Last year, we put more money there than has ever been put in K-12 education. So I think these programs, these things I've listed, demonstrate just how committed we are to trying to find and produce an educated workforce. It's just not something we talk about. It's something that we've actually done. And moving forward, we're going to continue that emphasis. I saw a couple of quotes recently which I thought were instructive and probably are helpful to us as legislators as we think about this idea of workforce development. A lady named Laura Shinvin, who is the director of the Healthcare Career Advancement Program, says, industry is much more nimble than education. Things are changing so quickly in the healthcare industry, we need education to be able to respond just as quickly. In other words, we need to be nimble. Education needs to be nimble and be able to adjust quickly because technology and industry is adjusting so quickly. And we as government, I think, need to be able to be just as nimble, which is a hard thing for government to do. But that is nevertheless a goal. I think we want to be able to be nimble to provide for you what you need in the area of workforce development. Another individual, a gentleman named Lance Laverne, Director of Talent Acquisition at Alcoa, says, we have to encourage people to think more broadly and more positively about workforce jobs. And then we have to provide them the skills to pursue these jobs. I think that's a great quote as well. We need to be able to encourage our students and our young people to consider jobs in the workforce arena. There are some great jobs out there, career-type jobs, and jobs that pay very well that will help to support a family. And we need those students to begin to think about those types of jobs, and we need to promote those. Your organization needs to do it, and our organization needs to do it. This entire concept about being nimble, preparing educated workforce is one of the motivations behind us rewriting the K-12 formula. As you know, there's been a lot of emphasis, a lot of talk about finding a better way to fund our schools, a more reliable, predictable way. That's one of the things our superintendents complain about is we never know from one year to the next how much we're going to get. So we're trying to work in partnership with them to find a way that is more predictable, more reliable, so that they can be better able to educate their students and meet the needs of those students. Our goal in this formula is to come forward with a student-centered formula, one that is focused on the needs of the students, the makeup of the students. It focuses on what their abilities are and their backgrounds. I think that is a much better way to fund schools than the way we are currently doing it. So that is one of the motivations behind our efforts to rewrite the formula. We're going to continue to work on that. When I meet with your leaders, they always ask me, what can we do to help you? And today I have an answer to that question, 3 things. So I would ask this organization to do 3 things. One is get behind our efforts on roads and bridges, support these ideas, help us find solutions for roads and bridges. Secondly, support our efforts to rewrite the funding formula for education. It will be better, and it will help better prepare students for careers. And then thirdly, help us in our efforts with workforce development. If you want to partner with us, if you want to come alongside of us and help us move Mississippi forward, we need your help in these 3 areas. If you do that, we're all going to make Mississippi more prosperous. Thank you so much for letting me be here with you today. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.